We're very close to getting some sort of deal with Donald Trump, but Wab Kinew, the Premier of Manitoba, has ratcheted up his pokey, pointy, prickly rhetoric just as we're on the eve of a deal. I don't understand that if the goal was to get a deal. If the goal is to get a deal and Trump has pulled in his claws a little bit, and if we're getting closer on the key issues, does it make any sense at all to get nastier in those final moments unless your goal is not to get a deal? Here, take a quick look at this comment by Wab Kinew just the other day.
That we don't like Donald Trump's approach to trade or his way of treating Canada. You know, very wise people have said you can't get a good deal with a bad person. And I think that rule applies here. I mean, you know, President Trump is the reason we're all paying so much at the gas pump right now because of his misguided war in Iran. And I could go on and on and on about the Epstein files, and you know that I will. But realistically, this is a situation that we're in as Canadians. So we still have agency. We can still make the choice. We can still say Crown Royal is better than Jack Daniels.
Now, in one sense, it doesn't matter at all what Wab Kinew says. He's the premier of a province. He has no say whatsoever in foreign treaties, in foreign trade. He just doesn't. To be brutal about it, Manitoba, the whole province, has the population of, I don't know, Milwaukee, 1.5 million souls, and its budget is 20% funded by other provinces through equalization. It is poor. In fact, ranked on what's called a purchasing power parity basis, Manitoba would be poorer than any state in the Union, even Mississippi. So what does the mayor of a poor province the size of Milwaukee have to say about anything? Why would anyone care? Well, in one sense, no one would care. But I think his job is to prickle and poke and get a reaction from Trump, because I believe the best way to understand the conduct of Doug Ford, Wab Kinew, and even Mark Carney himself is that they do not actually want a deal with Donald Trump. They would rather have various industries as sacrifice communities, especially the Ontario auto industry, if they could at least maintain the word Trump as a scare device for elections. I mean, let me give you a perfect example of this. The other day, Doug Ford was defending data centers, which are quite controversial these days. What was his argument? Was he saying, as Danielle Smith did, is we'll be careful about water use and energy use? It said, no. He said, they're either built here or in the States, and you don't want Donald Trump accessing your data, do you? He literally used Trump as the boogeyman to push AI. Take a look.
We can build the economy of the future and ensure Canadians' data remains in Canada and out of President Trump's hands, or we can get left behind and risk Canadians' data being sent down to the US, where only President Trump, God knows what he will do with it. I don't trust that guy as far as I can throw him. That's why today I'm announcing Ontario is launching the framework for our data center playbook to help the province attract the best data center investments that drive economic growth while ensuring Canadians' data remains right here in Canada. I keep emphasizing that, folks. We want to have sovereign data. We don't want to rely on President Trump getting his paws all over it. We want to focus on our data and make sure we have a sovereign system. Folks, in this building here, anyone who lives in Ontario that has a driver's license, that has a health card, that's ever faced the judicial system, it's all stored right here to safeguard people's information and keep it out of the hands of President Trump.
That's what Trump is for the Doug Fords and the Wab Kinews in the world. A foil, a favorite debating opponent who never really pokes back at them because they're too small to be noticed. But it moves 1 million elbows up liberal voters in Ontario the right way. I think they want a perpetual fight with Donald Trump because it just works for them politically. That's my theory.